Signing day sprint. Today, we're talking Alabama's most important recruiting targets. We'll get going here, but first, hit the subscribe button to the On3 Recruits channel. Alabama fans, there's a lot to cover over the next couple of weeks. We want you to be a part of it. Hit subscribe for me, please. All right. Our signing day sprint series. Regular season is over. Fans are checking back into recruiting. Maybe you haven't followed it all season, so we want to make it real simple for you. Who are Alabama's most important recruiting targets? Let's bring on Andrew Bone from Bama Online. And we are just going to start with the most important, and that is five-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton. He's the number one offensive tackle in America, and I had him here on the show back in September, and he named Alabama his leader. Now, he has publicly kind of rescinded that and said all teams are equal. But as we get down to crunch time, Andrew Bone, where does Alabama sit with Jordan Seaton?
Well, I don't know if I would say they are in the driver's seat, but I do think they are right, near the top. I think it's going to, come down to the wire with him. And we've kind of always said this, even when he started coming out back in the summer, naming Alabama as his leader. We said, don't pay much attention to that just yet. Wait until we get a little bit closer to the early signing period, because regardless if Jordan Seaton made a decision, during the summer, in the early fall, or if it was going to be the early signing period, that decision, that final decision wouldn't happen until that week. So, I do think that Alabama, Oregon, Tennessee, Ohio State, Florida, those are all top contenders in his recruitment. But I think it will come down to the in-home visits. Alabama would certainly like to bring him in again for another unofficial visit before signing day. Now, if they can get him in on campus at some point in the next couple of weeks, that would be very beneficial for the Crimson Tide. But it's just going to be one of those recruitment that is going to come down probably to the final hours of the process, because we know that he is a top priority, not just for Alabama, but every school that's still on the list, that looking for a franchise left tackle, and he's certainly a top priority for everybody that he's that's still recruiting with him.
Yeah, I'd probably put Alabama in that top tier. For me, it'd probably be Alabama, Tennessee, and Oregon. I've had Ohio State in that group, but now we're getting into crunch time. He still hasn't showed up on campus in Columbus, so we'll see if he does. But until then, kind of got Ohio State and Florida on the outside of that group looking in. But, these last couple of weeks, you never know with Jordan Seaton where he'll show up. So it could be in Tuscaloosa. It could be in Columbus. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, let's move to the other side of the ball. Edge Jon Ross out of Kansas City, Missouri. He goes 6'3", 220. What are your sources saying on Alabama's chances at landing this edge rusher?
Yeah, so this is a kid who has kind of gone quiet since his official visit to Alabama in early November. It was his first trip to Alabama. Had a great time, brought his family, and we know that things went extremely well. And there's currently plans to return for an unofficial visit. It may not be set plans just yet, but he is attempting to make a trip back to Tuscaloosa in these next 2 weeks, so that he can see Alabama for a second time, because he's only visited once. But I think Kansas State, Nebraska, those are some schools that have been high on his list for a while. But then the Alabama offer happened in October, got to Tuscaloosa in November. So that relationship's new, but it's growing very strong by the day. So I think that Alabama would love to add an outside pass rusher like Jon Ross. He plays on both sides of the football. But Alabama's looking for at least one more outside linebacker in this class. They don't have any right now. So they have 3 inside linebacker commitments. They're looking for an outside linebacker. He's right at the top of the list, along with Solomon Williams, who they've recruited for a while out of the Tampa area. Yeah. I think they're going to have a really good chance to at least land one of those two.
All right, now let's move down to the state of Florida. And Zaquan Mincy, not only the top uncommitted DB in that state, but really the country. And there's kind of been I wouldn't say a shakeup with his top teams, but Florida and Miami, both considered high contenders for him, both having down years. Is this a spot where Alabama can maybe be the dark horse and pull Zaquan Mincy out of the state of Florida? Rivalry season is here, and you better have your tickets. There's still some great games left in the season, but you know what's not great? Finding last-minute tickets. Finding tickets before a game can be a nightmare. Do not let this be the way that your season ends. That's why I'm here to tell you about Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the big-time matchups. Game Time will get you to this year's biggest college football games with elite deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee. Don't stress over getting into your favorite team's biggest rivalry game of the year. There's only so many big games, and you need to get these tickets at the best prices. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Game Time has tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It is the place to find last-minute tickets. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets on all sports and even concert events. So here's what we're going to do. Snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code INSIDESCOOP to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
So Zay has visited Alabama twice so far. He took an unofficial visit with his family back in, I think it was back in June, and then he took an official visit for the Tennessee weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He was planning to come back for the, I believe, for the LSU game. Dad ended up not being able to get off work, so he couldn't make it. As of right now, I mean, Florida, Miami, those are schools that are in-state that he's visited several times that he likes a lot. But Florida just lost its defensive backs coach,
right?
Raymond. So, does that play a big factor in his decision? We'll have to kind of wait and see. Talked to his mom last week, and his mom said that they are planning to get back to Tuscaloosa before the early signing period. His brother plays at Alabama State, so his brother would like to come on that visit with him, get some feedback from him, kind of make it, and then once we kind of get into the early signing period, obviously make that final decision. But we do expect Alabama is going to be in the race here all the way until the end. They've made a strong impression on Zay and his family. Always kind of felt like it'll be really tough to pull him away from the Sunshine State, but the fact that Miami and Florida have both struggled this season, I think that opens the door for the Crimson Tide. Now, Alabama does have 6 defensive back commitments right now, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. He remains a top priority for the Crimson Tide, and certainly somebody they would love to add in this year's class.
Yeah, they'll certainly find room for him. Now, let's move on to the last name on this list, and that is Kian Lacy. He recently reopened his recruitment about 5 or 6 weeks ago. He was a Nebraska commit for some time, but now the 5'11", 195-pound back out of Lancaster, Texas, is back on the market, and Alabama looks interested. What are you hearing on Kian Lacy and Bama?
Yeah, so this is a kid that visited Alabama prior to his junior season, but didn't come back to Tuscaloosa until the LSU game a few weeks ago, and had a great time with his mom. Ole Miss, Florida, all still in the race for him. But as of right now, we're giving Alabama the edge. Tide doesn't have a running back commitment just yet. Done 2 in last year's recruiting class. Don't have any right now, but they're going to have 2 top 100 backs on campus in the next couple of weeks with Kian Lacy, and then Miami commitment Kevin Riley is also planning to return for another visit. He's been to Alabama 3 times this season as a Miami commitment. So that's something I think we're all continuing to watch pretty closely.
All right. Well, it's going to be a really exciting sprint down to signing day. Andrew Bone from Bama Online, thank you for dropping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.